They say home is where the heart is. In my case, it's where sweet revenge lives. I'm Emily Anderson, and this is the story of how I went from being the struggling daughter to the owner of the luxury retirement community my parents desperately wanted to live in. Growing up in a middle-class family, I learned early that money was always a source of stress. My parents, Robert and Linda Anderson, worked hard, Dad as an accountant, Mom as a high school teacher, but they always seemed to be chasing the next paycheck. Their dream was to retire in luxury, specifically at Sunset Gardens, the most prestigious retirement community in our state. One day, Dad would say, looking at Sunset Gardens brochures, "We'll live there, if we save enough." I inherited their dream of financial security, but with a different approach. While they focused on saving from their salaries, I became fascinated with real estate and property development. By 14, I was reading everything I could about real estate investment. My parents found it amusing. "Such big dreams for a little girl," Mom would say, patting my head, "but real estate is for rich people, dear." That attitude continued through my college years. When I declared my major in real estate development instead of following Dad's footsteps into accounting, they were concerned. "It's too risky," Dad argued. "You need a stable career." "Property development is stable," I tried explaining. "Every building you see started as someone's investment." "Leave that to the big developers," Mom advised. "Focus on something practical." But I had a plan. While studying, I worked 3 jobs: barista in the morning, library assistant during the day, and property management intern in the evenings. Every dollar I earned went into my Empire Fund. My first investment came during my junior year. A small, rundown duplex near campus was going into foreclosure. The location was perfect for student housing, but the property needed work. "You're making a huge mistake," Dad warned when I asked for his advice, not his money, about taking out a small loan. "Property management is for professionals." I bought it anyway, using my savings and a carefully structured loan. Spent every weekend renovating it myself, learning from YouTube videos and retired contractors who were happy to teach an eager student. 6 months later, I had my first rental property fully occupied with graduate students, generating positive cash flow, but my parents still didn't see it as a real career. "It's nice for extra money," Mom said dismissively, "but you need a proper job." After graduation, I took a position with a commercial real estate firm, not for the salary, which was modest, but for the education. I wanted to learn how the big developers operated. Meanwhile, I kept buying properties, small at first, more student housing, a couple of single-family homes, a small apartment building. Each one was carefully chosen, renovated, and managed for maximum return. My parents remained skeptical. "Real estate is too volatile," Dad would lecture. "One market crash and you'll lose everything." What they didn't know was that I was learning from the best in the business. My boss, Sarah Mitchell, became my mentor. She saw something in me that reminded her of herself 30 years ago. "You understand the long game," she told me. "Most people want quick profits. You see the bigger picture." Under her guidance, I started thinking bigger. When a prime piece of land came up for sale on the outskirts of town, Sarah helped me put together my first development deal. "It's perfect for senior living," I explained to my investors. "The demographics in this area show an aging population with substantial retirement savings. They want luxury, but they want to stay close to family." The investors agreed. Construction began on what would become Willow Creek Estates, though I kept my involvement quiet, working through holding companies and letting others be the public face. My parents, meanwhile, were approaching retirement age. Their savings weren't quite enough for Sunset Gardens, which disappointed them deeply. "We've worked so hard," Mom sighed during one family dinner, "but these luxury communities are for rich people." I saw my opportunity. "I might be able to help," I offered. "I know something about real estate." Dad actually laughed. "You can't help us," he said, shaking his head. "These places cost millions. Your little rental properties are cute, honey, but this is different. I have connections." I tried again. "Maybe I could." "Emily," Mom interrupted, "we appreciate the thought, but be realistic. You can barely afford your own apartment." They still thought I lived in a small rental, not knowing I owned the entire building. "Let's look at something more in our range," Dad suggested, pulling out brochures for less prestigious communities. I let the subject drop, but I was smiling inside. Willow Creek Estates was nearing completion, and it was even more luxurious than Sunset Gardens. The waiting list was already long, but as the owner, I had certain privileges. 3 months later, my parents received an invitation to tour Willow Creek Estates. They almost threw it away. "We can't afford this place," Mom said, but curiosity made them attend the open house. I watched through security cameras as they toured the facility, their eyes wide at the amenities, the Olympic-sized pool, the gourmet dining room, the spa and fitness center. Everything was top of the line. "This is even nicer than Sunset Gardens," Mom whispered to Dad. The sales director, who knew exactly who they were, gave them the VIP treatment. "We have a special offer for certain pre-selected clients," she told them, "a significant discount on our luxury suites." My parents were tempted but suspicious. "Why us?" Dad asked. "The owner personally selected you," the director replied smoothly. They applied, certain they'd be rejected. When they were approved at a rate they could actually afford, they were ecstatic but confused. The day of the lease signing, I made sure to be there. My parents arrived early, dressed in their best clothes, ready to sign for their dream retirement home. The facility manager greeted them warmly. "Mr. and Mrs. Anderson, welcome to Willow Creek Estates." She gestured to me, standing quietly in the corner. "Miss Anderson, your parents are here to see your property." Mom dropped her pen. Dad's mouth fell open. "Your property?" Mom stammered. I smiled. "Welcome to my latest development, one of 12 luxury retirement communities I own across 3 states. "This is impossible," Dad whispered. You rent apartments to students." "I started with student rentals," I corrected, "then I moved into larger developments. Willow Creek Estates is my newest project, $50 million in construction costs, fully subscribed before opening, and yes, entirely mine." They stared at me, then at the elegant building around them, then back at me. But how?" Mom managed. "Remember when you told me real estate was for rich people?" I asked quietly. "You were right. I just decided to become one of those rich people. All those times we dismissed your work." Dad's voice trailed off. "Were opportunities for me to prove you wrong," I finished. "Every property I bought, every development I planned, was leading to this moment." The facility manager, enjoying the scene, added, "Ms. Anderson is one of the most successful developers in the region. Willow Creek Estates is already being called the new standard in luxury senior living." My parents sat heavily in the plush lobby chairs, trying to process that their struggling daughter owned not just this facility, but an entire real estate empire. "The discounted rate we were offered," Mom began, "is real," I assured them. "Consider it a family discount, though given that I own the place, I could have just given you a unit for free." "Why didn't you?" Dad asked. "Because you raised me to earn what I have," I replied. "You may not have believed in my methods, but you taught me the value of hard work. I want you to feel you earned your place here." Tears formed in Mom's eyes. "We were so wrong about you." "You weren't wrong about everything," I said softly. "You taught me to dream big. Remember all those Sunset Gardens brochures? You just didn't dream big enough." The lease signing proceeded, though my parents' hands were shaking so much they could barely hold the pens. As they reviewed the paperwork, they began to notice details they'd missed. "Anderson Development Corporation, that's you?" Dad asked, pointing to the ownership documents. "All 12 properties," I confirmed, "plus 30 mixed-use developments, 40 residential complexes, and that little student housing empire you found so cute." "Our daughter," Mom whispered, "our daughter is a millionaire?" "Billionaire, actually," the facility manager corrected cheerfully, "though she never mentions it." After the signing, I gave them a private tour, showing them features even other residents wouldn't have access to. Their luxury suite had been specially designed with their preferences in mind: Dad's love of golf, private putting green on their balcony; Mom's passion for painting, a custom-designed art studio with perfect natural light. "I've been planning this for years," I explained. "Every time you mentioned what you'd want in a retirement home, I took notes." The garden layout, Mom realized, it's exactly what I always described as my dream garden. "Down to the specific varieties of roses," I nodded. "And Dad, the golf simulator is programmed with all your favorite courses." They were quiet for a long time, taking it all in. Finally, Dad spoke. "We should have believed in you. You believed in hard work and financial security," I replied. "I just found a different path to those goals." The next few weeks were amusing as they adjusted to their new reality. They kept discovering new things about my success, like the fact that I owned their favorite shopping center, or that the charity foundation funding their old school's music program was mine. Mom struggled most with the shift in our dynamics. "I don't know how to act," she admitted one day. "My daughter is my landlord, and a billionaire." "Act like my mom," I suggested, "the one who taught me to work hard and never give up. The success is just details." Dad started asking about my business, genuinely interested now in understanding real estate development. I caught him reading books about property investment, trying to understand the empire his daughter had built. I was wrong about the risk, he said during one of our discussions. You weren't taking chances, you were making calculated investments. I was too focused on the traditional path to see it. The other residents soon discovered who I was. Despite my attempts to remain low-key, my parents became minor celebrities in the community. Your daughter built all this? They'd be asked. You must be so proud. We are now, they'd reply, with a mix of pride and lingering embarrassment at how long it took them to see my potential. Last month, I overheard Mom giving advice to another resident's daughter who was interested in real estate. Don't let anyone tell you it's too risky or not for you, she said. My Emily proved that with enough determination and smarts, you can build an empire. Dad's been using his accounting skills to help some of the other residents understand their investments better. My daughter taught me that real wealth comes from seeing opportunities others miss, he tells them. Yesterday, they hosted their first dinner party in their luxury suite. I watched from my office as they proudly showed their friends around, pointing out features they now knew I had specifically designed for them. Our daughter thought of everything, Mom said, beaming. She always saw more than we could see. The irony of them now living in a property I owned wasn't lost on anyone, but seeing them truly happy, truly proud, not just of the luxury around them but of the daughter they had finally recognized, made all those years of underestimation worth it. This morning, I received a letter from them. Dear Emily, we thought we were teaching you about success, but you taught us that success doesn't always look like what we expect. Every detail of this place shows how well you know us, even when we didn't really know you. We're sorry we didn't see your vision sooner, but we're so proud to see it now. Love. Mom and Dad. P.S. Dad finally read your feature in Forbes. He framed it and hung it in our living room, right next to your first property tax bill, which he found in his old files, from Little Acorns. I had the letter framed and hung it in my office, next to the first Sunset Gardens brochure I'd saved as inspiration. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about proving people wrong, it's about proving yourself right in the most spectacular way possible. And sometimes, home really is where the heart is, especially when you own the entire building.